currently I am driving. I'm in North Carolina doing a little road trip. I gotta check out some stuff up here. And I am driving, as you can see. There's a little bit of a glare because the sun's out. I just want to say you are up on a tripod. And I'm keeping my eyes on the road for the most part. I'm being as safe as possible. I wanted to talk about Scream 6. There's been so much to come out that I needed to talk about it. Oh, that's gross. Okay, now ignore the blue. Okay, we'll get rid of there. What's going on, Denisha? Can't wait to see. I can't wait to see it either. I just wanted to talk about the. I'm driving once again. Like, if y'all see out the window here, I do have you up on a tripod, and I'm keeping my eyes on the road over here. But I wanted to talk while I'm on the road here. I got a couple hours worth of drive, and I just wanted to start, ranting and raving a little bit, talk about these critic reactions. So I do want to say, if you consider critic reactions a spoiler, probably skip this one because I am going to talk about them. I emphasize reactions because they're not reviews. They don't go into plot. They don't go into anything like that. It's pretty much just how if they get, high points, low points. They can't get into plot. So there's no spoilers. However, some people do consider reactions as a spoiler. If you are one of those people, I'm just going to forewarn you, maybe you should sit this one out. I love you. Have a safe, great weekend. But I am going to talk about those in this one. So, with that being said, I assume anyone here is okay with hearing about these reactions. And I'm sure you've seen some of them online. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there. What's up, Marianne? I do see y'all in the chat. I just know I cannot pull up the chat because that would require me to actually work with my phone while I'm driving, so I can't do that. I see it when it comes up though. I'll address the ones I see. Who's the killer? I don't know who's the killer. That hasn't come out yet. I have my suspicions, but yeah. And Denisha, you're correct. The reactions that have came out are overwhelmingly positive. I just want to say, y'all, I don't want to come across as negative. I just want to be real and say a few things about the reactions. So if you just want great positive vibes and no negativity at all, this is not going to be the live stream because I'm going to point out some things about this that maybe some people don't want to hear. Thank you, Denisha. Yeah, make sure no spoilers posted. But here goes. As Denisha already pointed out, the reactions are overwhelmingly positive, and that's a good thing, right? That's overwhelmingly positive. There's been a couple that I would consider negative reviews, but even those have positive things in them. So that's great. That's wonderful. We want positive reviews. Here's the thing. Here's my thing with this. You can't just go to this early screening, right? You can't go. It's not anyone can just walk in and view an early private screening of Scream 6. The studio picks these people to come see the movie. They pick the people to come watch it so that they will give their review or their reaction early. If a studio thinks you're not going to give a good reaction to the movie, they're not going to invite you because it's coming out a week beforehand. This is going to impact ticket sales. These positive reviews or reactions, I'm guaranteeing they're impacting ticket sales. People are seeing it oh, it's great, better get our tickets, and that is a good thing. I'm just saying the studio's not going to invite someone that they think is going to give it a negative reaction because a negative reaction would affect ticket sales the other way. So I'm not saying these reactions are bought or anything. I'm just saying, anyone in this chat here, if you're there, if Paramount came to you and said, hey, we really want you to come watch our movie a week early and post a reaction on social media. Your view of that movie is going to go up because, like, you feel special. Like, there's just no way around it. You're going to feel better about the movie because of the experience you had. So I just want to take these positive and negative reactions with a grain of salt. I saw someone coming up in the comments there saying, do I think you think it's going to be Detective Bailey? I do too. I've said it for a long time, just because everyone thinks Henry Czerny's going to be like the mastermind or something, and I don't think he's going to be the mastermind. And the only other two people who could possibly own the shrine that are like named characters, or three people, I guess: Detective Bailey, Kirby, and Gale. I don't think Kirby and Gale own this shrine. So for me, it was kind of process of elimination, Detective Bailey. But anyways, that's getting away from. We'll come back to that. Also, I saw something to do. I think it's going to be good in 3D. I think it is. I'm seeing it in 3D. I'm seeing it 2 times on the 9th. That's next Thursday. I'm seeing it 2 times. I'm seeing it at 5 p.m. in 2D and then 10 p.m. in 3D. So I want to see the difference. Anyways, back to these critic reactions now. I do want to point some things about them out. As I said, I think people do give a little bit higher opinions of the movie because they're invited to an early screening. But I'm not saying that makes what they're saying less legitimate. I'm just saying if someone gives a negative review out of that situation, then I put a little bit more weight behind that, because I think these people had every opportunity to enjoy this movie. They got an early private screening by the studio invited them personally, and they still thought so low of a negative reaction. That has a lot of weight to it, in my opinion. Lucka, by the way, I saw you said something about Creed 3. I saw it Wednesday. Oh my God, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It's just a really quick little snippet about it. I thought it was a perfect entry into the Creed with Michael B. Jordan directing, but I think it works. Big positive. By the way, I hope you can hear me okay. If you can't, chat. Mason Gooding is getting a lot of praise in these reactions. Male character. Not saying we have to have that, but I want him to be that. I want him to be the heart that Dewey brought to the movies, because that's what Dewey was. Everyone loved Dewey because he provided that. And now that Dewey's gone, we don't have it, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for Chad to pick up that mantle. And the fact that he's getting so much praise makes me really happy. For me, that's the best positive I heard, was that Chad was a standout performance. So, it makes me so happy. Now, I'm going to alternate between positive and negative, and let me... okay, hope they use this thing in New York really well. That's another thing they've said. I've seen several reactions say that it feels authentically New York. One person did say the only issue they see with it is that you can tell the core four aren't real New Yorkers, because I think they said if the core four were real New Yorkers, Ghostface would have been caught almost immediately. And they're not real New Yorkers though. So if it feels that way, that's kind of legitimate. Anyways, going back to a negative, this is one of the negatives from a reaction. Take this with a grain of salt, but one critic reaction said that the twists and turns were too convoluted. Now, some people might not care about that. Personally, I care about that because I feel like I don't want the movie to just focus on trying to stump us, just focus on trying to trick us. I want it to be a good movie. Like, I would rather have a solid movie with a more predictable twist than a movie that's okay that stumps me. Like, I want it to be a good movie regardless of the twist. So if they're going if they're gone down the rabbit hole so far to make it a convoluted twist and turn type of movie that they lose focus on the movie being good, that's a huge negative for me. We don't know if it's gone that far. I don't know if I trust this person. That's just something that was pointed out. So, by the way, I want to say, hey, Carrie, I see you out there. Hey, Blucka. That's the next positive I was going to talk about. Two Boys, you are on it. I see what you're talking about. Another positive that was pointed out by a lot of people was apparently the opening sequence is fire, and I am here for it. Personally, I loved the opening to Part 5. I did. I know some people didn't because there wasn't a kill. I love that Radio Silence kept the feeling, the DNA of Scream, but they made it their own. So I loved 5, and if this tops 5, I am I'm so on board with it. And Carrie, yeah, I'm seeing people say it's possibly best of the franchise. That's high praise, but I mean, like I said, taking this with a grain of salt. Blucka, that's another thing. Here's something to think about. We're seeing all this great feedback, these awesome reactions, like it's the best of the franchise, best since the original. Go back to 2021 or 2022, right before Scream 5 came out, and look at those early reactions. They were saying the exact same thing. And then when the movie came out, the audience didn't feel the same way. Personally, I love Scream 5. I know a lot of people love Scream 5, but for a lot of people, Scream 5 is not the best since the original. So that just kind of is more to add on to the point of let's take all these great reactions with a grain of salt, because the exact same things we're seeing now were said about Part 5, and the audience did not feel the same way. Like I said, not saying they're bought and paid for, but they are. It's not a normal audience member. These are not normal people under, the same circumstances that you and I are going to be seeing the movie. So their opinion of the movie is skewed. Now, back to that positive. The opening sequence is supposed to be great. I can't wait to see it. As we all know, I think our suspicions have been since the very beginning that it's gonna be Samara Weaving. I know people don't want her to be the opening kill. I'm so damn certain it's gonna be Samara Weaving at this point. The only time we see her in any promotional material is in that alley. And I think she gonna die in that alley. So, how she's gonna die is apparently what's gonna make it real special. So, I think she's the opening kill, and apparently her opening kill is gonna be real good. So, that's a huge positive I've seen. Is the opening sequence is great. Let's see, another negative I saw. And this one was more like, it hit me a little harder, and I'm like, I hope it's not true. One reaction said the writing at certain points was so bad it was almost laughable. Whew, that's not good, yo. Things to keep in mind: if you didn't like 5, or if you thought the writing in 5 was just okay, keep in mind that this is the same writers, the same directors. I know people have said, oh, well, Radio Silence was making that movie for the fans or for Wes or whatever. It was Radio Silence's movie. They could have done anything they wanted. So I'm not giving them a pass because it was their first Scream movie. They didn't have to make it any other way. So if you don't say that this movie's going to be different because now this is their movie. No, 5 was their movie too. They could have done anything they wanted with it. So it's the same writers, same directors as Part 5. But, so keep that in mind. Like I said, if you didn't like 5 or you thought the writing in 5 was just okay, you're going to get more of that because it's the same people. Now, The comment specifically said the writing was so bad in parts that it was almost laughable. That has me worried. I'm just going to be honest. That has me worried. However, I think personally, bad writing can be elevated by good performances. I think it can. I think bad writing can bring a performance down as well, but I think a good performance can elevate bad writing. So the fact that the entire cast damn near is getting praise for their performance makes me a little less worried about bad writing. If it's true, we don't know if it's true. So let's take that with a grain of salt too. Now, on to some other positives. As we all suspected, we pretty much now have confirmation. Great gore, great kills. By the way, Carrie, I see what you're thinking about, or what you said. I agree. Let's get Kevin Williamson back. I think he's just knee deep in TV shows and stuff right now. I would love to have him back actually writing, because right now the only thing, as far as I'm aware, he's only a producer. He doesn't actually write anything. Excuse me. Radio Silence has said that they will reach out to him and kind of pass things by him to see what he thinks, but he's not actually writing anything. He could come back. Now that's the thing. If he had time off of a TV show or off of other things he's working on, he could come back. The only thing I know for certain right now is he is writing an episode, at least of Crystal Lake, the Friday the 13th show. I don't know. I can't say for certain, and I'm sure he has other things going on. I know he just did Sick, as True Boy said there, I think. He just did do Sick, but you got to think in terms of writing, he probably had that written a while ago. So it's possible that he is helping with 7. I doubt it, though. I'm pretty certain 7 is already written, if I'm being honest. Scream 6 is coming out next week. I predict the Monday following, the week following at the latest, they're gonna announce Scream 7. They're gonna give the green light. It's gonna get a public official announcement, and they're gonna start working on it immediately. So I think 7's probably already written, or for the most part written. So I don't know how much he will be a part of 7. I personally do think Radio Silence is going to move on after 7 to their other projects. So it's possible he can come back. Blucka, you think 6 and 7? I don't necessarily think they were already written. I do think there was an outline. I think there was pretty much a trilogy blueprint laid out. We got to think, though, that trilogy blueprint could have included Sydney, so whatever they had for 6 and 7 would have to change because Sydney's not in it. And if Sydney doesn't come back for 7, then it would have to change. So even if they did have something already when 5 came out for 7, it would have had to have been updated to exclude her if she's not coming back. But Kevin Williamson coming back to write would be amazing. I think there's just, when he did his remakes, because from the way I understand it, 7, when he wrote 4 and then brought the idea to Wes to make. He felt that the genre had changed so much that there needed to be a new Scream. He wrote it and then went to Wes with it. My thing now is I don't know if the genre has changed enough for him to want to write a completely new Scream movie to take to the studio. Could be. I don't know. I don't know if it has. I do think there's already a story in place for 7. I think there has to be. The way Hollywood works, if there wasn't, they would call 4 or 5 people and come up with one. I think we're gonna have to have at least 7 to finish up some storylines. It won't finish up all of them, but I think it is gonna finish up Gale. I think it'll finish up Sydney. I don't think they're gonna die, but I think they will be, their story will end. and we'll shift focus completely to whoever's left from the core four plus Kirby. And whatever that means for, for Six, I don't know. I can't comment on what Six is doing or will set up for 7 because I haven't seen it. But anyways, back to these reactions. I'm trying to think of the other positives. The gore, like I said, going back to the gore, we all suspected it, I think, and we had heard rumblings from some of the actors giving interviews saying that it's the most violent, the most gory Ghostface. Here's my thing, and I want to know how y'all feel about this. I feel that I'm a little different than most people because I don't want some tactically trained John Wick Ghostface. I don't, because the victims that Ghostface is going after are like right out of high school teenagers, or just barely above the drinking age, untrained people. The only reason John Wick works is because John Wick is going after equal. And Ken Williamson wouldn't have written a script to bring him back. I don't think you can bring back someone who's 100% dead. So, anyways, that's just a matter of opinion. That's the thing. I'm not actually hitting tunnels. I'm just driving through, I guess, backwoods North Carolina here, and I went and visited Judy and Wes Hicks's house yesterday, and Screen Gym Studios, which is where they built the replica of Stu's house for Part 5. That was pretty cool. The replica of Stu's house for Part 5. That was pretty cool. But I'm heading over to another city in North Carolina right now. Anyways, I don't want that Ghostface. I don't want Ghostface to be too tactically trained or anything like that. And here's the thing. I don't think they are. Everyone's saying that Ghostface is like trained and all this, like parkour. They jump over a sofa. Like that's the extent of the training we see in this trailer. Let's be honest. They jump over a sofa. And now we've seen extended parts of that scene. What happens when they jump over that sofa? They get hit in the damn head with a frying pan. Like, someone who's tactically trained, that's not gonna happen to them. It just ain't. Like, come on now. I don't think they're tactically trained. I don't think they're smart. I think they're brazen. Like, I'll give them that. Like, they don't care. They're chasing people down crowded streets, chasing people into crowded convenience stores. And I think that also points to not being well trained. Because if they were well trained, they wouldn't have got away. They definitely wouldn't make it out of that convenience store. And like, none of it really, to me, points to well trained. I think we're gonna see some kid, like college kid, high school kid, something. I think we're gonna see some young kid take the hood off, and like we're gonna be like, how were Blanca, tactically trained people move around. Exactly, Blanca. I think I got it. Don't judge me here, Top Chat. Exactly, Blanca. Like, I went through tactical training. I was part of the security team on my on the ship when I was in the Navy. I can tell you what we're not going to do. Run down the crowded street with a knife and into a bodega or a convenience store that you don't know how many people are in there. You don't know what people are armed with. You don't know if your target is even still in there anymore. That's not tactical training. It's not. What it is stupid and brazen. And I don't, the sofa, I saw Carrie say something about the sofa though. Like, that's the extent of what they do, is they jump over a sofa. And you know what else a tactical trained person isn't gonna do? Put on a damn robe to chase down their victim. They're not. Have you worn a Ghostface robe? They're not easy to move in. They're not comfortable. Like, if you want to be tactical, the freaking last thing you're gonna pick is a Ghostface robe. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Have you seen those dang tassels that hang off of it? Like, that would get caught in so many places. It doesn't make any sense. I'm betting right now. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna put this bet to anyone in the chat right now. I'll put $5 to anyone that this Ghostface is not tactically trained. I think they're gonna be a fan of Stab, or they're gonna be wanting revenge. If I'm calling it now, that's what it's gonna be. Fan of Stab, or they want revenge. I think those motives are pretty much gonna be what we see, and that's gonna be it. I don't think they're gonna be some person who's went through freaking boot camp or a SWAT team training course. Like, I just don't think it is. And the Plaid theory, I saw someone say it, I think it's true. The Plaid theory, I think it's going to be Jack Champion. I don't know if it'll be Jack Champion under that particular mask. Here's the thing. A lot of people are saying Josh Segarra, and he has the build for it. Like, when I see Josh Segarra, I'm like, that dude looks like he could be, like, he looks like he has that, he just has that build, you know, like he could be the one moving that quick and doing all that stuff. So I don't think it's him, but he has the look. Now, just as a side note here, I've said from the beginning I don't think Henry Czerny's going to be involved. I don't know if y'all saw. If you haven't, look on my community page because I posted it. The first photo, like the first official look at Henry Czerny came out. Immediately, it's like, I don't know, this cat looks suspicious. So I might be changing my tune because he looks. And do I think 2 killers only? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're gonna get. There's been a lot of suspicion that we'll get 2 killers in a mastermind. Obviously, we've had the suspicion that it might be a cult. I think the cult idea would be awesome. The problem with the cult, in my opinion, is once you get past a certain amount of killers, it starts getting disorganized. Like, there's a point of I forget the exact phrase. Like, it stops being a positive. It stops helping, and it actually starts making it worse. Pointed like negative return on it. So I think 3 or 4 would be okay. Once you start getting to 5, like, the control is lost. You couldn't really. It gets harder to organize between the 5 if you're not working together. I think we're going to get 3. If I was a betting man, I'd say 3 or 4. I don't think we'll see anything beyond that. Could be wrong. That would be sweet. But, Blucka, you hope the unmasking is in the bodega scene? Oh, I don't know about that. That'd be interesting because everyone right now kind of assumes the final act is going to take place in the shrine. That would be cool. Although I said a long time ago, I think it'd be really cool if we had a Ghostface unmasking earlier in the movie. Like, we have one that's just unmasked, maybe killed really early, and then we have to try to figure out if there's more stuff like that. So that'd be interesting. Anyways, back to this not tactically trained. I think it's gonna be like, here's the thing. Look at the possibilities. Scream is a whodunit. It is. So that person, that tactical person, is one of the characters we've seen, or one of the characters that's been introduced. The options that you have: Annika, Quinn. Technically, we still have Laura, which is Samara Weaving's character, Dermot Mulroney, Kirby, Josh Segarra, Jack Champion. Ethan is the character's name. Henry Czerny, technically, I don't know if I said that name already. Henry Czerny, and that's like, that's kind of it, because we see that mask and that person doing those things with the other people on screen. Like we see with that decayed mask, we see Mindy, we see Annika, we see Sam, Josh Segarra. We do see Tara in the bodega scene. So like those are kind of ruled out unless someone else is wearing that mask at a different time. That's the thing about having different looking masks. Carrie, I didn't forget Revelori. I didn't forget him. We know where Revelori is from that Red Band trailer. I don't think that's a fake out. That's the reason I didn't include him. Just throwing it out there, just saying. All right, this is a side note. I don't want this to be a spoiler. It is from the Ethan gives you bad vibes. It's the plaid. That's why he gives you bad vibes. He's wearing the plaid, y'all. That's what it is. The plaid theory is real. It's legit. So I think Ethan so do we think the intro scene is a single kill or multiple? I think it's gonna be single for one reason, and that's because the reason is we haven't had enough characters introduced to kill off. We always have the intro kill. I think now that I'm thinking about this, I'm not certain if we have, like, whoever dies in the intro is always included in like marketing and stuff. Like Tara was included, Casey Becker was included, obviously Cotton was included, the theater part 2 with Marine and Phil Stevens was included. Like they were included in marketing, like on the posters even. The problem is if we have there's not enough people to have multiple kills, unless there are 2 that I think could be opening kills. And if they do a double, then I'm calling it now. It's going to be these 2. It's going to be Samara Weaving and Tony Ravioli, or Ravioli. You know who I'm talking about. It's going to be those 2, because those 2 I think would make sense. But I'm suspecting it's going to stay a single. It's going to be like great, going to be a great sequence apparently, but it's going to be a single in my opinion. You hope the plaid is used as a MacGuffin to throw us off track. If it was very obvious, I would say so. The thing is it's not too obvious because he doesn't have it buttoned up and it's under a coat, so you only see very slim amount of it, at least in that first trailer he shows up in, or I think it's actually one of the promotional images as well. I think he works as the Ghostface, in my opinion. Ethan does work. He's young, he's spry, he's young enough to be dumb and chase people through a crowded street in New York into a bodega that he has no clue who are in there. And I mean, these young whippersnappers, they like their parkour, so he could jump over a sofa. Like, really, come on, y'all. I don't want to like harp on this or go back to it, but write in the comments here if you're of the tactically trained opinion. What in the trailer or what have you seen that makes you think Ghostface is tactically trained? I want to like go line by line here and say this. What do you think that you've seen makes Ghostface tactically trained? Because we've already addressed the sofa and that hardcore parkour that they do. I personally don't think that makes him technically trained. I think anyone can jump over a sofa. So I'm gonna count that out now. Like, I've jumped over a sofa myself. I may have sprained my ankle on the other side, but I did it. There's the convenience store, but they don't really like the shot. Okay, exactly, the shotgun scene. I don't think that's tactical. Like, they hear a shotgun blast and they move. That's all they do. Like, it doesn't have to be tactical to do that. You just got to be quick. Once again, a tactical person wouldn't have gone in there without knowing who else was in there and what they were armed with. So I think that, for me, I don't consider that tactical. The Ghostface is not spraying. He's like, I didn't either, Carrie. I was just making a joke. It was a joke. It was a haha. The way he takes the gun. I'm thinking of the way he takes the gun. I mean, he stabs the dude. Like, I don't know. I'd have to look at it more like critically, but I don't know. Just something about it. Nothing about him or her is different than what I think a normal person would do if they were trying to be Ghostface. And once again, going back to my original point, and I don't know if y'all agree, but I think it doesn't make sense for Ghostface to be some John Wick, Jason Bourne type killer, because the person that they're chasing they're not that trained. So it gets to a point where it's not realistic that they would have trouble killing their victims. And that's my problem with it. If you want your Ghostface to be well trained, you have to train up the victims as well, or else there wouldn't even be a fight there. And that's something I do want. I would freaking love it if we got little 5-foot tall Tara, right? And Ghostface starts coming after her, and we find out maybe she started taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right after part 5, and now she's a black belt, and Ghostface thinks he's just gonna walk all over her, and she freaking slams his ass and like chokes him out. I would love that. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, do y'all think that would be great? Like, I don't want Ghostface to win all the time and like until the ending, like, because pretty much that's how it is through the entire movie. Ghostface wins, Ghostface wins, Ghostface wins, Ghostface wins, Ghostface gets away, Ghostface loses. I want someone to throw the smackdown on Ghostface and then him crawl away and have to regroup. The way they tactically took out Vince, tactically took out Wes, and that's the thing, like, I don't think there was really any tactics to it. I think it's just opportunity. Like, it looks like Chad. I see, that's the thing. I want Chad to like step up and just throw hands. I want that. Like, I don't want it to be an action movie per se, but I also don't want it to be Ghostface. Ghostface comes in and other than being shot, just rules, like completely takes everyone out. Like Amber got the upper hand in pretty much the entire situation with Dewey other than being shot. That's like, I'm not even saying it's unrealistic because it's Amber. It's unrealistic because Dewey is a very capable person with training and could have handled that situation had it been Richie or Amber. So it makes sense to me. I want Ghostface to get beat the hell up and get away so the movie can continue. But I want Chad, like in this one, I do want Chad to throw hands. I want Chad to throw hands and throw Ghostface. I want to see Chad like pick up Ghostface like a rag doll and throw them off that damn balcony. Like, that's what I want to happen. I want a win for the good people, you know? And maybe Chad better not die. If Chad dies, I'm freaking probably not going to do anything about it because I'll still love the movie. But I'll be upset, all right? Like, exactly, Team Chad. Chad is, you know, maybe it's just me. I think I noticed a little bit of, he was a little bit thinner in this one. And like, there's a scene where you see him like in a short sleeve shirt. It's while they're all standing in that living room or whatever. And Chad, like, you can see muscles, but he does look a little thinner than he did in the last one. And I don't know. I want someone to actually compete with Ghostface, not just survive. And maybe that's not the point of the movie, but also, I feel like it's a little unrealistic that these victims, these survivors, wouldn't start trying to prepare themselves. Like, if it happened to you, you gotta assume it can happen again, and start taking some precautions. Like you know what I want to see? How in the trailers we hear Tara go, we lure him in, we execute him. You know what I want to happen? I would love for it to be that scene where Tara and Sam are back to back, right? And there's a ghost face on either side of him, and you hear Sam go, "Are you ready?" And Tara goes, "Ready?" Do you know what I would love to happen? I would love for them to each pull out a gun from their belt, like from the back, like their back section. You know how people put guns in the belt? I would love for them to each to pull out a gun and just unload into Ghostface. Like, hey, you thought we were just victims right now. We wanted you here so we could dust your ass. I would love for that to happen, because it makes sense to me that these people would want to try to protect themselves. It's happened before. It could happen again. And I think it makes sense that they would take certain precautions at this point. That's a little bit of a rant, but yes, I do see... Sorry, I saw Blucka say something about a copycat killer. At this point, I think they might be. I think it could be Stab. How would you feel if the kills are great, scenes are tense, and moves along, but the motive is weak? I'd be okay with that. Like, if you got a good movie, I would rather have a good movie with a weak motive than a weak movie with a great motive. Because the motive is only going to matter for, I don't know, the last half of the third act. The rest of the movie happens before that. So I would rather a great movie with a little bit of a weaker reveal and motive, because you're going to enjoy the rest of the movie. You don't have to worry about why they're killing people until the end. And see, that's one of the negatives that came across too. I did see Viewer Anon say that the killer and the motive were the weakest of the franchise. Once again, though, we got to take that with a grain of salt. We don't know what Viewer Anon likes, and it could be, if it is reused, you can have a reused motive or reused information that and still be a good movie. I brought up the example, I think, on one of the streams over on Destination Stations channel. There's always a movie. Not always, but there's several times in the past where movies, like two movies that came out at the same time that are essentially the exact same movie. Like White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen. And then there was another one where it was Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached. They were literally in the theater at the same time. They're the same movie, but with different people. And both of them can be good. One of them will be better. Like execution. It's all about execution. I've said it before. I've said it for a long time now. I believe this is going to be a rehash of Scream 2. I think we're going to get the relative of a past person who's been killed coming for revenge. I think that's what it's going to be. And I'm okay with that, because there's a lot you can do there. I know Killjoy Jake is not okay with that. Killjoy Jake has made it very, very apparent that he's not okay with that. Personally, I am, because there's a lot to do with that. And if I'm being honest, I thought Miss Loomis's motive was the best of the franchise. If there's any person in the franchise I thought I can see that really happening, it was Miss Loomis. A person killed their kid they're not a sane person because they also don't, they're also completely ignoring their part in the entire thing. But someone killed their child. She brought this person into the world. I can see a mother saying, "You killed my kid. I'm gonna kill you and everything you love." That's believable. And for some reason, Killjoy Jake is just not on board with that at all. So a relative of someone who was previously killed coming after you because they blame you, it's 100% believable. That's happened in real life. So I'm not disappointed if they reuse that motive. So, but I said it before. I think we're gonna get a rehash of Scream 2. They left Woodsboro. They're going to college. There's a theater involved. Obviously, it's a little bit different. There's a lot of stab talk going around. Gale Weathers has apparently written a book, and it's going to piss some people off. I think it's lining up, in my opinion, to be a rehash of Scream 2 in some way, and I think that's okay, in my opinion. Some people might not like it, but I think that's what it's going to be. And yeah, Viewer Non said that thing. He said that the killer and the motive were the weakest in the franchise, but he also said that it was a good movie. So that's what I meant when I said at the very beginning of the stream, like, even the reviews that I said were negative, that I thought were negative, they said positive things as well. And some of the positive reviews had had a negative thing or two in there. Did I see the Scream Experience in LA? I saw it online. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to it, but it looked really, really cool. And if I'm being honest, if you watched a lot of those videos, it kind of, I don't think it spoils anything with Tony Ravioli, but it pretty much confirms our suspicions. I'm going to talk about that now, so if you don't want to hear it, just cover your ears. I'm going to give you like a 3, 2, 1, and I'll wave my hand when I'm done talking about it. 3, 2, 1. All right. If you watched all the stuff with the Scream Experience in LA, they had Dermot Mulroney, Tony Revolori, and Mason Gooding there. They went through the experience, and when they got to the shrine stuff, Tony Revolori was so like blown away. You could tell he had never seen that stuff before. It was so obvious. And then, because he looks down and he's like, "Oh, this is Billy's row. Oh, look at that." And Dermot and Mason are like, "Yeah, this is just like the set we shot on, remember?" And then you could tell he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember this." And like, then there's another clip of them outside, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just like the set we were all on when we were filming." It was so obvious that he never set foot in the shrine, and I'm guessing it's because he's dead. Because the trailer kind of shows him as dead. Yes, the book was in the bodega. I think it was like Requel Horror Returns to Woodsboro or something like that. Yeah, she wrote a book after saying she wouldn't, and that's the theorized reason Sam and Tara would be mad at her, because at the end of it, she said, like, "I'm not going to write about these murders. I'm going to write about a good man," talking about Dewey. And if she didn't write about Dewey, then Gale, that's a step back for Gale, because Gale had come like full tilt from a terrible person in the first one to a good person. And if she's sidestepped or taken steps backwards into that old personality, I'm kind of done with Gale. She's going to upset me. Yeah, they are very well-known actors. Tony's been he's in freaking the new Spider-Man. He's Flash in the new Spider-Man. So he's in a multi-billion-dollar franchise right now. going to fly down for the day, but my youngest couldn't go, unfortunately. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. It was pretty cool. I was hoping, since it was like a pop-up experience, that it would come other places, but it was just in 2 places, I think. Although someone said it was also in New York, so that would make 3 places, because I think it was in 2 places in California. Anyways, yeah, it would have been really cool to see it. A lot of people, I'm very thankful that some people documented it really well online, so we got to see all the information, like all the little hints, like the Stu's Chews chewing gum and the Judy's lemon squares, and there was the Meek's water, I think. Mason Gooding pointed out that some of the water bottles, the brand was like Meek's brand or something. So I'm really thankful that a lot of people documented it really well. So I didn't get to go, but I felt like I got to experience enough of it from vicariously online. So anyways, I'm going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. There's going to be another stream today. It's going to be a long one over on Destination Station, right? He's doing a stab-a-thon with the Scream movies. It's literally, I think it's starting at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, so that's about an hour from now. He's starting the first Scream movie, a watch-along, and we're going to do the entire franchise, 1 through 5 today, all in one stream. I think it's going to be 10 or so hours. It's going to be a long one. I'm not going to be there for the entire thing, but I'm going to pop in and out. So if y'all want to jump in and watch along, that is going to be happening. So I'm going to be jumping off here in a few minutes. Any last questions or anything? Anything about the reaction? Anything about the reactions you want to bring up? Well, we could talk about it for a few more minutes before I jump off. Overall, I just want to go back to my my initial sentiment. I don't want to sound negative about these reactions. I just want to look at it with a take off the shiny new everything's going to be great filter, because I don't think that's realistic. I think the people who have been chosen to give these reactions were probably chosen because of the expected reactions they would give, and I think we need to keep our expectations where they were before these reactions came out. If you were already super excited, great, stay super excited. I don't want, would you be upset if Scream 6, oh no, it's going away, live chat. Would you be upset if Scream 6 is yes, I would. If Scream 6 was a Halloween Kills, I would be pissed, because Halloween Kills had no story. I've seen people try to debate that and everything. Halloween Kills had no story. There was no character growth for damn near anyone from the beginning to the end. The entire thing was just, let's bridge the gap between Halloween and Halloween Ends and give a lot of kills on the way. If that's what they do with Scream 6, it's gonna get so many negative reviews. I know people liked it. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't hate Halloween Kills, but Halloween Kills was entirely there to serve as a middle chapter. That's what it was. If you look at Jamie from the beginning to the end, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, she didn't grow from the beginning to the end. There was almost no character growth. Everyone was the exact same as they were at the beginning of the movie, but Michael had killed a lot more people and he had gotten home. And it set up so many things that weren't resolved in Halloween Ends. If they do that with Scream 6, it's going to be the worst reviewed of the franchise. I think it will be. If Scream 6 is just a bridge chapter to get to part 7, it's going to be negatively received. That's just the way I feel about it, Blucka. I don't want that for Scream. You can't watch Halloween Kills alone. You can't watch it alone. You have to watch Halloween 2018. Have to watch Halloween Ends to get a full story. I do not want that for Scream. If they set up a cliffhanger with Scream 6, it's gonna lower my opinion of the movie too. I don't want Scream to have to trick someone or force someone to come back to see another movie. I saw a comment on someone else's live stream. Someone commented like, "Oh, I want a cliffhanger. I want them to leave us like wanting to come back." My opinion is, if you have to set up a cliffhanger to get your audience to want to come back, you haven't made a good enough movie. At the end of Scream 1, there was zero cliffhanger, but I immediately wanted to know more. That's what I want. I want you to make a movie so good, even though the story's tied up, I want to see what happens next. I don't want you to make a movie that is okay, but I have to see what happens next because the story wasn't finished. And here's the thing, I love ends more than I love kills. I loved ends. I know it didn't do what a lot of people wanted, but I loved it. So, but to go back to the initial sentiment, no, I do not want Scream 6 to do what Halloween Kills did at all. At all. David Gordon Green was a better killer than mine. I mean, he definitely killed some things. He definitely killed some fan expectations and dreams. So, who knows? Who knows? Jamie, and once again, I just want to say, I do like kills. I think, I said this on another stream too, I believe it was on Destin's as well. You should never announce a trilogy for a slasher. You shouldn't. Because that immediately lets the audience know there are no real stakes to the first or second movie. Scream is a little different because we follow kind of new characters each time and we get a new killer each time. But for like Halloween, when we knew after Halloween came out that there was going to be 2 more movies, we immediately knew that neither Laurie nor Michael would die at the end of the second movie. So there's not really any stakes. Pretty much the question you go in and you go in asking is, well, which of these people is going to die? Because we know it's not Laurie, we know it's not Michael. It lowers the stakes. So going back to it, Scream is a little different because even if we've announced the Scream trilogy, which they kind of did, we know there's going to be a 7, right? We don't know which of the current group is going to survive to get to 7. We don't know who the killers are at 6. We don't know who the killers hypothetically or assumedly are going to be different in 6 and 7 because they always are. So it's a little different having that trilogy announced because there is still a lot that can happen that would change in between 6 and 7. But to the original sentiment, Blanca, no. Do not give me a Scream Kills. And with that, everyone, thanks so much for stopping by. This was kind of just a lot of ranting and raving, and I just wanted to talk mostly about these, mostly about the critic reactions that came out, and what I think about them, and all that. There's also been a lot of new photos that have came out, like stills from the movie, high definition, stuff like that. If you haven't seen them, go to my community tab on my page. I have a lot of them up there. There's also some fun polls you can vote on. Anyone who's watching this on replay, if you've stuck out this far, thank you so much for watching. Go vote on the polls. Go check out the photos. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry that commenting is still turned off on all the videos and community posts and stuff. I'm trying to make sure no spoilers get through for anyone else. I don't know if those. I'm kind of leaning more toward the side that the spoilers aren't not legitimate, but they're definitely not the full story. So anyways, sorry comments are all turned off. I love having the comments and replying to them and everything, but we've only got like, personally, I think I'm down close to 5 days at this point, because I'm seeing it Thursday at 5:30 p.m. So we're getting really, really close. I'll probably open the comments back up the Monday following the movie release, give people the full weekend to see it. And I know people overseas see it a day early and stuff, so I'll probably open it up then. So if you still haven't seen the movie at that point. Avoid my channel. It seems counterintuitive to say, but just just avoid my channel for until you do see it, and then come and comment. Let me know what you thought about it, stuff like that. We'll definitely have a live stream. I might do a live Thursday night after I get out of this 3D showing to talk about it. So if anyone who has seen it already, they can pop in and we'll have a discussion. I'll make sure to try to keep it spoiler free. If it is going to have spoilers, then make it very apparent there's going to be spoilers. Yeah, 8th in Australia. It's 8th in a lot of places. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm seeing it on the 9th at 5 p.m. That was the earliest showing, or 5:30 p.m. That was the earliest showing I could get here in, or down in Orlando. I'm up in North Carolina now, but it's the earliest showing I could get. So comments will be re-enabled probably the Monday following the release. We're getting so close, y'all. So close, it's practically here. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. Definitely jump over to Destin's stream if you wanna do some watch-alongs. Like I said, it's gonna be all 5 movies. Probably gonna do a movie, have a few minutes of downtime, start the next one. It's gonna go for about 10 hours. If you can't stay the whole time, pop in and out. That's cool too. That's what I'm gonna be doing. Thanks everyone for showing up. I really do appreciate y'all coming and ranting and raving with me. I love you all. Safe and have a great weekend.